What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com. Let's talk the NFL draft, specifically quarterbacks here in the NFL draft in 2022. Let's try to make some money, if there's any money to be made in the quarterback market. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. You're here already. Hit the subscribe button. Everything's free we do, so go ahead and be a part of all of that. So as you see right here, this is the NFL draft tab here at the Lines. You can see we just have an incredible amount of content. There's pages and pages and pages and pages. You'll find it on all the different positions and players and things out there. But let's focus specifically on the quarterbacks. And really, the crux of everything is going to be Desmond Ridder here in the first round, most likely. That seems to be the consensus of where the kind of making and breaking point of how many quarterbacks are going to go in this draft in the first round. It will depend on Desmond Ridder and where he's going to go. You can take a look over here, and we'll just go to DraftKings. Pick number, not going to be number one overall. We know that. There's not going to be a quarterback going number one overall. Number two overall, that comes down to the Lions, and will the Lions pull the trigger on Malik Willis? You can see sitting there at 9-1 for the Lions to take Malik Willis there. So it's kind of where the draft starts at 2. Do the Lions get kind of crazy and get going there with the quarterback position? So you'll go over here to position totals, and you can see that whenever we get here, total first round quarterbacks, 2.5. It's juiced to the over at 250. The reason for this is we know for sure Malik Willis is going, and we know for sure Kenny Pickett is going. If we look at all of the respected mock drafts there are on the internet, every single one of them have both of these guys going in the first round. The highest you have seen Malik Willis going, again, is as high as 2 to the Lions, with the Lions going absolutely nuts and taking him second overall. The lowest we've seen is 20th. So we haven't even seen him get past 20th in any of these really respected mock drafts out there for Malik Willis. As far as Kenny Pickett goes, the highest we've seen him is all the way up at 6, of course, because that's where the Panthers are picking at number 6 right now. So we've seen him go as high as 6. We've seen him go. Now, there are a few out there that have him fall outside of the first round, but just a very, very, very few. We do have the vast, vast majority of them. Kind of the median ADP for him is somewhere in the kind of 20th to 21st pick range. So again, both of these guys going in the first round. So it comes down to Desmond Ridder. And what we can see right here is at DraftKings, for him to be top 32, which again is first round, it's minus 120. When this market hit, it was even money on him to go in the first round, and I took that bet. I put it in the account. Because here's what we're looking at. Whenever we take a look at this draft, and we talk about this all the time, and I'll let you read along here if you want to read along with some of the stuff on Desmond Ridder. But what we've seen in this draft, unlike any other, we have 8 teams with multiple picks in the first round. That's 2 different things that we have happen there. One, it gives some of these teams the freedom to maybe make a luxury pick, and that also gives these teams the freedom to trade away these picks as well. And what you get when you draft a quarterback in the first round, obviously, is you get that 5th year on the rookie deal. You really need to hit on a rookie quarterback in order to be able to win a Super Bowl these days. And I don't blame these teams for taking their swings and trying over and over and over and over again. So basically what we get to is Desmond Ridder going to one of these other teams that are quarterback needy. Because listen, if we start naming teams that are quarterback needy, right? We know for sure the Lions' long-term solution is not Jared Goff. We know for sure the Panthers' long-term solution is not going to be Sam Darnold. Then you get to the Falcons. Marcus Mariota, probably not. The Saints, Jameis Winston, probably not. We know Seattle needs a quarterback very badly. There are a bunch of teams that could add a quarterback. The Titans, how in love with the Titans are with Ryan Tannehill? Do we know that? I don't think we know that. We know the Steelers need a quarterback. There are a bunch of teams out there that need quarterbacks. And again, once you start getting lower in the draft, you find these teams with multiple picks. You've got the Packers with multiple picks. You got the Chiefs with multiple picks. That maybe you could sneak in towards the end of the round and get in on the third quarterback. So I love the over 2.5. I understand it's juiced to 250, but I still think it's bettable in my opinion. I know for sure Malik Willis, I know for sure Kenny Pickett are going to go, and then I would be shocked if somebody didn't come in and take Desmond Ridder just to take that swing on a guy with a lot of upside and a guy that where you get that fifth-year option on him as well. So that's kind of that for the over 2.5. Really do like that a lot. Now, some of the other things you can do, as we mentioned. So first offensive player, what I want to make sure that you don't do. So Malik Willis is only 550 right here to be first offensive player. But if you go to pick number and you go to number 2 overall, he's 9-1. You want to bet Malik Willis here because the only way Malik Willis is a first offensive player taken is if the Lions take him at 2. We know the Jags aren't taking him at 1. The Texans are not in the market for a quarterback at 3. So what we know for sure is his only real way of going. The Jets at 4 are not. So the only way for Malik Willis to be the first offensive player taken is for him to go 2. Because once we get to the Jets, once we get to even the Texans, once we get to the Jets, they're either taking offensive linemen or like if for some reason one of these pass rushers fall or something like that, like they might take that. But once it gets down, there's going to be offensive linemen taken in this thing. So there's just too many good ones. These teams are going to be faced with the decision to pass on an Evan Neal. Not going to happen. Pass on a Charles Cross, just not going to happen. Pass on an Ike Ekwonu, it's just not going to happen. So that's kind of where we sit so far on that market. You definitely want to take Malik Willis at that 9-1 number 2 overall pick as opposed to the first overall offensive player taken. Because again, that's going to be an offensive lineman unless he goes number 2 overall and we get better odds over there. You can also just head over here to quarterback props. First quarterback selected, Malik Willis at 150. Makes a ton of sense. You come down here, though, they did add third quarterback selected, which is a pretty interesting market for me. Like I said, I think Desmond Ridder is the third quarterback taken, but it's minus 165 here, where you can just take minus 120 for him to go in the first round. So there are multiple different ways. You have to really shop and dig through these markets to make sure you're getting the best number. Unless you don't think he goes in the first round. And then, of course, you can take the minus 165. But I think he goes in the first round, and I would take the much shorter juice on that as well. Kenny Pickett minus 140 to be the second quarterback. Listen, there are a lot of mocks out there, and over 90% of them have Kenny Pickett as the second guy taken. So I would be looking at that market as well from a quarterback perspective. Then from there, it really just comes down to, again, that first round number we were talking about, we saw on the previous page here. Does a fourth quarterback sneak into the first round? Well, that's where you start looking at some of these other numbers here. You can see Matt Corral is minus 145. I think that's a little rich for him to go in the first round, to be perfectly honest. He is getting a little bit of love here lately. I still think that is not a good price for him to go in the first round. You can see Ridder sitting at 125, Sam Howell at plus 120 as well. Would I be shocked to see four quarterbacks go? I would not, because again, we talk about how great it is to get a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal for your team and being able to spend elsewhere around him. That being said, there are not very many smart people out there who have Sam Howell going in the first round. I do see a very, very few that have Corral sneaking in the first round, specifically at the 32nd pick to the Lions. They have the last pick in the first round. But none of these, I don't think, especially at these numbers at minus 145, there's no way that is bettable at all. You can also go to team draft futures here. And again, if you think that you know for sure where these quarterbacks are going to spend, where these teams are going to spend their first picks, again, if we're pretty dang sure that the Steelers are going to take a quarterback, you can see right here it's plus 120. And so it doesn't have to be Malik Willis. It doesn't have to be Kenny Pickett. It doesn't have to be Desmond Ridder. It doesn't have anything like that. You just get plus 120 on them to take any of those quarterbacks, which we are pretty pretty sure the Steelers are going to be looking pretty hard at a quarterback. They've kind of tipped their hand just a little bit that that's the direction they want to go. The other one is the Saints, and what are they going to do? You can see plus 150 at quarterback for the Saints, but the Saints can go a number of different ways. They do get Jameis Winston back, who, by the way, played pretty well before he got hurt at the beginning of last season. So that's one of those quarterback needy teams that you can't really just bank on them taking one for sure, because they might think Jameis can get it done. The Panthers, you can see even money for them to take an offensive lineman or a quarterback, knowing they need both badly. So be sure and dig through these markets as well whenever you're looking at these quarterbacks and where you want to play them and how you maybe want to go about trying to play the overall quarterback market here. But guys, tons of different ways to go about this, tons of different ways to get bets into your account. And again, like I said, I definitely like the over 2.5 quarterbacks in the first round. I like Ritter to go in the first round as well. One of the things, again, both of those already in my account, and I still think that they're bettable even at the prices that they're sitting right now. You can read this full article on Ritter over here, over on the lines, and of course, all of our draft coverage, just tons and tons and tons of draft coverage. Be sure and take that in as well. Everything we do is absolutely free. Hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think about the quarterbacks in the draft this year? I know that they're not jumping off the page at you, but they're going to get drafted. So how many of them do you think are going to go in the first round? Join our conversation. You can see up here in the right-hand corner in Discord as well. Constantly talking draft, golf, NBA, everything, UFC, everything that's going on in the sports world. We're having open discussions over in the Discord as well. Good luck on all your bets.